right.
What up, New York City?
All right, check one, check two. This is it.
Boom.
Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I'm your host, Rob Cantrell, coming live from Union Square Park. We are at the farmers market of the nation. I'm with one of the best cannabis growers I know. And he also grows amazing vegetables, beets, lettuce, farmer from the earth. Right here, let's give it up for Will Leibee.
Hey. Woo. Good to be here, brother.
Thanks for doing this, Will.
Yeah,
I appreciate you doing it. I know we're awkward. We're in the back of your truck. You're in the middle of your hustle flow. I apologize.
It never ends. The hustle doesn't stop as a farmer.
Yeah.
It's all good. You make seemingly situations that seem awkward to most just all right when you're a farmer.
Yeah, you're
It's all
always
good.
on.
Yeah, I'm always on. I just got back from Days Cannabis across the street, dropping a delivery.
Shout out to Days Cannabis.
Shout out to
Great
Days.
legal certified spot.
Yep.
And they carry Will's brand, Back Home Cannabis, sun-grown, outdoor, Hudson Valley, finest of the finest.
That's right.
That I've been around.
That's right. And we have some new special news too. We're doing launching an indoor operation in 3 months. We just got licensed for our first indoor grows.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, cannabis is like you got to have a little something for everyone in the cannabis game because everyone's got their taste and some like it.
It's always changing.
It's always changing.
And everybody has their certain thing. I myself am a fan of yours because it is sun-grown.
Yeah.
I like the sun-grown.
Yeah.
I find and dig out the sun-grown.
Yeah.
But I just did have some of the Jerry Garcia brand
Nice.
cannabis that is indoor grown from my friend in Maryland who lives in Maryland.
Is that where they're producing Jerry Garcia's in Maryland?
Yeah, Maryland. I know one of the guys that I grew up in D.C. that's a part of it, or he licensed. I think it's licensed out of California. I think it's Mountain Girl. I think it's his daughter.
Cool.
You know, but it's
Cool.
in the right hands.
Well,
As
I
you
love the
know-
Dead.
Yeah, I love the Dead. You gotta love the Grateful Dead here. But I also just want to say your company is one of the New York companies, and I'm just so excited about the New York cannabis scene. You know, I came up in the California scene. I got arrested here in New York in 2007. I did 3 nights in jail for a half a joint in the Lower East Side. So I'm just glad everything's changing. But you're one of the companies that it tastes good, it feels good. There's so much weird stuff going on in the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
And I think you have the right roots. It's grown the right way.
Yeah. I mean, so to me, cannabis is all about intentions.
Mm-hmm.
It is so we grow 160 different plants here. But cannabis, above all, takes in its environment more than anything else. So if you're growing cannabis directly looking at a bottom line or reporting to a board of directors, that's not a natural process. Cannabis is something that picks up the energy around it like I was saying, like no other crop. So the more love you can give it, the more positive energy around it, the healthier the soil, the cleaner the water, all kind of adds up into this beautiful expression of the flower at the end of the season, which is like, it's just an amazing biological, scientific, and spiritual process that we do every year. It's like, what a gift.
I know the blossoming. Intention. I just thought about intention today, and like, what is my intention? I got to do a podcast. I want to get something
like,
good.
oh shit, I'm going to the back of this guy's truck to do a podcast.
Yes. I'm hanging out with one of the wildest cannabis farmers out there that also grows amazing beets and Russian red.
Because it's all. It's like
it's all
you
together.
need it all. You need and we see it's an entourage effect within cannabis and the different cannabinoids, but there's also an entourage effect in the field when you're rotating crops. Different crops bring in different nutrients into the soil through photosynthesis.
And with cannabis, it's the taste. I'll tell you, one of the best bags I ever got back in the day. I was touring Northern California, this small town called Grass Valley.
Cool.
It's way up there in Humboldt, and I did a small little theater with a weird improv troupe, but one of them was a grower, and he gave me this bag that was fresh off the vine, grown in Humboldt soil, and it was outdoor, and he was kind of just this really chill dude, but he grew it in mint.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
And I tasted the mint.
Cool.
He had mint, like, I think other plants, like, don't they kind of vibe with the taste of
I
cannabis?
mean, those terpene, so when you have, like, when you're growing outdoors, you have a lot of insects and pollinators, and everything's kind of, like, in this little microclimate together. So you'll get, you know, if there's mint growing right next to it, you'll definitely get some, like, mint aromas coming in, and you experiment. Strawberries, no doubt. What we like to do is plant a legume before we plant the cannabis, because legume's nitrogen fixing. It pulls nitrogen out of the atmosphere. And then when you plant a cannabis crop right after that, it uses that natural nitrogen in the soil. So no synthetic things. And it's nature knows more than we do. And if we can just, like, guide it, then we're doing our job.
It just takes a lot of patience.
A lot of patience. And you really can't follow the money. Like, it took us, 6 years to get our soil, like, exactly right before we wanted to really start, like, pumping it out.
I do stand-up comedy, so I know about failing, and failing is the way to succeed in everything in life.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
And also, like, oh wow, what is this?
This is called Hippie Lemonade. Did Robin get one? Try this.
Yeah. I got my iced coffee, but I'll switch it up. I'm too strong out.
So this is a maple syrup lemonade from our neighbors across the street called Tweed Fontaine Herb Farm. Big shout out to them. They're fantastic herbalists.
Oh, wow.
That you can see them in Union Square every Friday. Try this thing.
Yeah.
Is that not the best lemonade you've ever had in your life?
Oh, my God. Amazing. It's fresh lemons.
Yep.
And simple syrup. Look at that. That's
maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
Yeah.
That's how you're sweetening. Not even the sugar. When you go maple syrup, that's some upstate jam right there. Boom. This dude has a vat of kombucha that would make you live to 1,000. This stuff is amazing. I love pink lemonade. I don't drink alcohol, so anytime
Me neither.
I'm all herb in coffee, and I love seltzers, water, and then nice mint teas. I'm into mints.
Yep.
Chamomile, but this, lemons. It's
delicious.
Lemons is all about, what is it? It cuts the toxicity. It's an anti-inflammatory, and that's what you want with your body.
Yep.
Is you want the anti-inflammatory that keeps the heart in check.
No doubt. So, what else do we have today? What's going on?
Well, we got some coffee, and I also just wanted to talk about your growing cannabis and your logo. The thing about the Back Home Cannabis is their logo is so dope, and doesn't look like candy. That's what I like about the New York. It's definitely a little bit more mature, and it's not frosted out. It doesn't look like something you would buy at a candy store. It looks like fresh produce, which it really is fresh produce.
It's funny you mentioned that. So a big PR company just reached out this week, and they're like, "Who did your logo? We love this." And honestly, I drew that like 8 years ago. I had a dog. I bought a dog, added the dog onto it, and then when we switched from veggies to cannabis, we added a cannabis leaf driving the tractor. So all this stuff is a process. It's just a natural process. You can't pay for beauty and get it immediately.
No, you can't throw money at anything and expect it to work.
That's the problem with the ROs. Like they have, there's $20 million plus. They're billion-dollar companies, some of these companies, and they can't figure out how to grow really quality cannabis because money does not equate to quality in the cannabis realm.
No, and it's not the thing about nature, and what I learned from surfing, it's not a machine.
Yeah.
Nature is not a machine. You can't be like, oh, this is what it's going to be.
It's not an Excel sheet.
This is when it's going to be a hit. This is when it's going to happen. Sometimes and the same thing with fishing. A lot of it, that's why I was talking about patience, is a lot of it with nature, you just got to let it go its own way and figure its way out. And if it's from a good source, it'll find the way.
Always. I mean, there's so much we can learn from it, and I don't want to jump down the rabbit hole of that, but it works perfectly right, nature, in every single possible realm of reality. It's exactly right.
Oh, wow. And most gardens should have a cannabis plant, and it
No
should
doubt.
be around, especially, the thing, I just interviewed Matawana, the first
nice.
Legal dispensary.
Yep, we're in there.
You are
Yeah,
in there
yeah.
and doing well in the South Slope.
Yep.
I got your...
Pre-rolls?
I got a whole pack of pre-rolls,
Nice.
the Super Lemon Haze,
Cool.
which is one of the best strains ever.
Yep.
One of my favorite strains. And then I had the Orange Dream.
Yeah, that's a one-off breed, which was cool. Experiment breed.
Yeah, experiment breed,
Yeah.
and it was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah. You guys, and you're nailing it. You're nailing because I did MC at the Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam.
Oh, nice.
In 2009.
Cool.
For High Times.
Cool.
And Super Lemon Haze. That was the first time it won.
Yeah.
Won the cup. And I remember tasting it and just being like,
that's a special moment.
This is the bomb, diddy bomb.
That's the top of the mountain right there.
Yeah, I'm not a Kush guy. I'm a sour diesel. Have you done any diesel yet?
We have not done a true proper sour diesel yet. I think one of the new indoor... So with our new facility, our new indoor facility, we'll be really pushing the limits with strains. It's hard growing in New York. The reason why most of that...
And to capture these classic strains and to grow it just right. Because people say this is diesel these days. And I'm like, I don't know. This ain't hitting like 98.
No. Like
with
a
my
haze,
Redman tape.
the haze is like a 14-week flower. So growing a haze in New York is like really hard to do without some mixed lights.
Oh, I see what you're saying. To do outdoor.
To do outdoor, yeah. But we have found that's why we didn't have that. I mean, honestly, the reason it's pre-rolls is because I don't think people would like the look of a real true sativa here in New York.
Yeah.
But the taste and the smell is there. So when we pre-roll it, they're like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah, the pre-rolls are amazing.
But if I showed them the bud, they'd be like, this looks weird. We're not used to this. This isn't like... So I didn't want to freak out the market too much. Like, give it the taste... give it the effects, and then we'll follow it up with the visuals when we go indoor. But with outdoor, we can't get the visuals there.
Yeah,
There's
everybody wants that super frosty, lightning green, and I'm not a big... I've never been a fan of... I mean, I had back in the day of hydroponic, but it just kind of went through that whole Kush phase in the late 90s into the early 2000s. And then when the bodega stuff started popping during the it just got bad.
Yeah, it got bad.
It just got bad quick. So when you guys came along, so I was like, dude, give me the hippie dippy stuff. Yeah. Find me the dude that's making kombucha that has like 19 dead tapes and wool socks.
I love the Dead.
Yeah, I do too. I saw the Grateful Dead at RFK in 1994.
Amazing. I saw Jerry one time. I was 7 years old. My mom brought me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
here in New York?
Here in New York.
These are huge, epic shows.
Yeah, at the Garden. My mom worked for Rolling Stone magazine for like 20 years. She would take me to Dead shows back as like a youngin'.
Oh, my.
I never dropped it. I love it. I still listen to the Dead on the way home from this market.
Oh, Will, that's sick.
Yeah.
That is a New York story right there.
Yeah, we lived in Chelsea, right over there.
You lived in Chelsea. Your mom worked for Rolling Stone, so you got to go to these epic dope shows.
Yeah.
And then you learned all about upstate as well.
Yeah.
Or your roots in New York.
My roots were in the city originally. Yeah. And then I actually I was in media for a while, always growing. Like I was growing plants. I was growing like male plants in my mom's basement when I was like 9 years old, and I was just so happy I could get a leaf, and I was like, "Oh my, this is amazing!"
Wow, you were born to grow.
Yeah, totally,
wow,
totally. And it took me a while to realize that because I went to college, and then I went into
and
media.
It's illegal, yeah.
And it's illegal, yeah. I got busted a bunch of times.
That
didn't help the career path.
Yeah, totally.
I got arrested in Jersey once.
But I know growers. One of my friend Danny Danko.
Yeah.
And so I knew like a bunch of city growers.
Totally.
And that is like a different sect. Like I hang out with stand-up comics.
Yeah.
So I get the vibe. But when you're around graffiti artists, they have their own vibe. When you're around growers, they have their own vibe and their own egos. And their own thing going on.
No doubt.
But the nerd goes deep with cannabis.
Oh, big time. The nerd, especially like as our technology's evolving, kind of side by side with our understanding of the plant.
Yes.
The nerd is going way deep.
Way deep. I mean, I'm too old for the super dabs and all that. I'm steering away, but I don't hate on it.
You can't hate on anything.
can't hate on
Having
anything.
an open mind is the #1 rule of cannabis.
No, yeah, it has to be open-minded, and
Yeah.
you have to accept everybody in all walks. That's what I liked about cannabis, is that you would hang out with everybody. The weed smokers, you hang out with gay people,
Yep.
all races, all punk rockers.
Yep.
Everybody has a weed head in their group, and those guys all hang
Yeah,
out.
it's really it's super
girls.
beautiful. It's super beautiful.
It's an amazing time as everybody's bummed out about politics and the future and all that. But the cannabis scene, as a longtime pothead and somebody that doesn't drink alcohol, just to see it open up, and there's a lot of road bumps along the way. But I can't be that mad.
Anything good has its challenges.
Yeah, everything has its good and bad.
Exactly, the yin and the yang. We're honestly we're so fortunate to get into that first dispensary Housing Works and be one of the first 6 brands on the shelf that day.
Space Queen.
Space Queen.
I think I may have got one your first bag.
That was
it was
minty
gorgeous.
Yeah.
That was I went to the Hudson, and I taped it. You can watch it. It's in Union Square. I take the bag. I just start rolling in Union Square and taste it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for.
Legal, clean weed.
Legal,
right
clean, grown up in the Hudson Valley next to kale and kombucha. Yeah. I was ready to rock.
Kombucha.
It's just a funny word.
I know.
And you have some edible flowers.
That's right.
He's selling edible flowers. I've never seen this before. I'm going to get a bag. He puts it on the top of the fresh lettuce, which is the bomb.
Yeah, we try to be funky with our stuff. We just, we learn alongside and we see cool things on the field and we're like, wow, this calendula, this marigold, for instance, would be awesome on a bag of arugula. Like, it's all edible. Let's spice it up. Let's throw more diversity out there. Let's
mix it up,
get things interesting to people. We're in a part of a movement here.
I know the veggie world is so exciting for me.
And
I'm kind of done with red meat, and I've just been getting into understanding microgreens.
Yeah.
Somebody sold me some crazy microgreens on the streets in Brooklyn. This dude, I was going to my car, and he had like this big box. He goes, "I think you will want some of these," and he gave me some free microgreens, and I didn't touch it for like 3 days. But then I did have an avocado that was ready to rock.
Boom.
And I had to do some toast, so I hit it with the microgreen. I was like, I'm going to trust this dude. I'm going to trust it. It was like buying bad weed back in the day. You never knew.
And then, boom, you were excited.
I was excited. So I understand about this, the grow. Can I taste one of the flowers before we go too deep everywhere with all this stuff?
This is a marigold. It's edible, but it's not insanely tasty. You probably want to taste a nasturtium, but try that marigold. Try one of these. Incoming nasturtium.
That is interesting.
Put this next
I'm getting a little bit of lettuce and onion at the same time. And that yellow, it's a very
Chalky.
distinct. Yeah, it's very distinct.
Yeah.
But anything green, I love now. I can tell it gets into my blood cells.
Eat the rainbow.
Eat the rainbow all day. It's all about. I'm telling you, I went to this place in Santa Monica called the Earth Cafe.
Cool.
If you ever, they had low acid coffee that was insanely amazing. But it was all like pizzas made out of avocados and shit. You know.
So we have a dispensary. So we're going micro business. A little bit about the Back Home Cannabis is we're just transitioning into our micro business now.
Dope. Is that the micro green business or that's micro money?
Micro cannabis business.
Oh, micro cannabis.
So,
whoa.
Yeah. So a little bit about the it's called a micro business license that the OCM offers. And you can grow, process, and retail all under one license.
But how do you grow micro cannabis? Do you just in
micro,
water?
They're talking micro mean you have a small canopy. So I'm not going to be allowed to grow like 3 acres outside. I'll just have to I'll grow like 20,000, I think 10,000 square feet indoors.
Okay.
Which you're going to be bummed about because you won't have our sun-grown stuff anymore.
Yeah, but still will have the sun-grown.
We still will have some sun-grown stuff.
You'll still keep some, but now you're leaning a little, you're going to take it up a notch with your growing. Yeah,
exactly.
I totally get it.
I want to take it up a notch with some really nice genetics that I have my hands on that just won't grow outside in New York.
Yeah.
So the only way I'm going to grow it is indoor. And also, like with the technology that we were talking about before, the crop steering that you can do with macro and micronutrients and CO2. Excuse me.
That's
a
all
lot
right.
of lemonade.
Yeah.
CO2, inner canopy lighting, side lighting, overhead lighting. You can, they say, so growing outdoors is playing with God, and growing indoors is playing God. Or it's growing outdoors, working with God. Growing indoors is playing God. So, not to say I'm getting overly egotistically on anything, but I really do want to test what I've learned outdoors in like a real controlled environment to see what happens, to see how I can, like, during bulk really affect the plant.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to it. I think the customers are going to look forward to it too. Like, the first little batch we grew when we showed it to some of our dispensaries, the universal answer was WTF, what the fuck.
Oh, whoa.
Every jar that was open, they all just said, what the fuck. That was the universal answer.
I said the same thing when I saw your kale. And I saw, what is that purple one called? Kuta?
The purple kale is garlic.
It's not kale.
Oh, kohlrabi.
Kohlrabi. Oh my God. The kohlrabi is like a nuclear, just a purple I've never seen
UFO
before.
Or something like that.
Yeah. It literally, when I walked into the tent, it popped at me. So I understand where you're going.
That's with our indoor cannabis too. Like, so it's all hand trimmed. So the nug, we're used to. The majority of nuggets out there are like round, and they've been tumbled through a mechanical trimmer. Yeah. But when you hand trim and you crop steer, the bud's shape is like almost like this claw-looking thing. So it like stops becoming round. It just goes like, it like kind of sprawls out. And there's crevices and mountains and valleys, and it's like a beautiful piece of art that you can't believe came from nature.
I know. That is those super high def pictures of all the super nugs, and I mean, it does go into a whole. It looks like you're looking at outer space.
Exactly.
NASA pictures.
Exactly.
So yeah, you're gonna take it outer space. What I was gonna say was, when I was in California, I had a Henry's pre-roll, which I would say is one of the better ones. But they had a Maui Wowie.
Yeah.
And it tasted. I was like. Because I had some Hawaiian weed in the 90s. This dude from Hawaii, I worked at a hostel in San Francisco.
Cool.
And this dude came in from Hawaii, and I had to work the graveyard shift all night. And he knew I was rough, and he gave me this joint, and I remember this joint. But I think it was outdoor Hawaiian weed that he grew, and I was like, oh my God.
Maui Wowie will do well here in New York because their humidities are similar.
Yes.
So
you think it can still that genetic? Yeah, it's pretty much close to it.
Yeah, because we're the best place to grow weed is California, hands down, or like Afghanistan, because the humidity's so dry.
Yes.
Here in New York, it's tough. You really got to hunt your varieties. You really got to, know some tricks and secrets to how to avoid botrytis, how to avoid PM, powdery mildew, how to avoid.
Yeah, the bugs. I'm growing like basil in my window, and if I don't mess with it, these bugs come out of nowhere. Yeah. And and I've been loving this plant for like 9 months, and then all of a sudden, it can go wrong. One little thing. That's what's so stressful about growing. I see where it's so stressful growing outdoors, and you're riding this whole thing. And I just want to applaud you, Will, for doing it and doing it at quality, and I think it stands out with even all of the big money events. It does
because the new headset report came out, and we are the 16th most sold brand in the state of New York.
Yeah,
and all of our competitors are like either ROs or over 10 million invested.
Jeez.
And we don't have $1 of debt, and that's a huge thing for us.
For a small business, for a small farmer to go up against an RO, if you don't know, it's like a hedge fund. That's just a bunch of rich dudes getting together, and they're like, this idea, run it, go. And that doesn't make for the best quality. That's what they're under. You gotta have small batch.
You can't scale up cannabis.
Yeah, you can't scale cannabis, and even business. Like, you just know when it's whack. You just know if the president's whack. You just feel it in the bones of the business. But everything's from the inside out, and that's what's just so exciting about your growing, and just the New York. I just think New York is such a great place to enjoy cannabis. Because upstate's popping right now.
Upstate is popping.
Everybody's moving. Popping. I mean, I'm 50. I was born in '72, so and I'm hanging out in Brooklyn, but I'm feeling like an old dude.
You're ready to go upstate?
I mean, I'm always I mean, I'm a hip.
Cool.
I'm just a Southern hippie at my heart. At the end of the day,
Did you see that 11-day Dead cover band concert they're gonna do? Did 11-day Dead festival in Lafayette, New York?
I might
have to go to that.
Yeah. What is who
like
is
Dark
it?
Star's like headlining it.
Dark Star,
but it's like
I've seen them. Dark Star Orchestra.
Yep. It's like 15 Grateful Dead cover bands on a campground for 11 days.
Yeah.
And it's called, what's it called?
What's the dude, Almost Dead?
Yeah, Joe Russo's Almost Dead.
He would be quality. Yeah, I would definitely check out that drummer.
I saw him in Asbury Park 2 weeks ago. It was fantastic.
Yeah, he's like a sick jazz drummer playing Dead. It's fucking awesome.
Totally.
So what I would say, so you're deep with the Dead. We could switch it up. You know, this is the Cannabis Coffee Hour. We can go weed, we can go coffee, we can go music. But what's your favorite Dead tune right now?
Oh,
like
man.
right now, like mine evolved.
Mine's like probably some sort of like Throwing Stones or like something with like a nice fast funk beat to keep me pumping through the day.
That's not. Yeah, that's what's that? What's that with the disco album? Is Bad Phase is
right.
Dun, dun,
was that
dun,
when like Touch of Grey came
dun,
out
dun,
and stuff?
dun,
Yeah, that's a nice Shakedown Street.
Shakedown Street is when they start getting really funky. Yeah, that's early 70s. I have a one-man show called 1972.
Cool.
And everybody talks about how many sick albums come out from that year. There's something about coming out of the 60s into the 70s. Like they just had dope cars. They just had dope music.
Yeah.
It didn't seem
the
it
art
at
of
the
the
time.
craft. Like the craft was there. Like there's such a world of like to me there's like these two different realities in business. You have like craft growers or craftsmanship where you care about like the art and the culture of the product, and then you have like bottom line business.
Then you got money,
and it's like you just know who's on which team literally just by saying like hi to them. And to me, I go with like the love and the passion and the craftsmanship every time, and it brings more purpose, and it's just a healthier way to.
And you're being your authentic self. And the older you get, you just can't fake the funk, or it's gonna go wrong.
No, you can't. It's like I see people, I see brands out there who have like $20 worth of packaging on like a $2 seeded nug, and it's like, this is never gonna work out good for you guys. Yes, you'll make a lot of sales one time. Yeah. But like that's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not doesn't feel right.
Same thing with stand-up. Like they say, like when you pop or you get an audience, you can't sell them the same act twice. You gotta always evolve and change, and it's hard because you dip down, you start bombing, you go awkward.
It's not
you get
easier.
It's harder.
It's harder for sure.
But if you go the other route, I've done that where you're trying to please everybody.
Yeah.
You'll become an unhappy person.
Brutal way to go.
Yeah, it's a brutal way to go. And there's growing in the sun, and you're a farmer every day, all day. You've been too good. We're at like 28 minutes. I could if you could just hang in there for 10 more minutes.
Hang on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm chill.
Awesome. Being a farmer, when did you start being a legit farmer? Like, I got a little land. I'm going to try to make this work. I got a dog.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, I basically what happened to me is I followed like this conventional lifestyle because I kept getting busted for weed and I couldn't figure out a career for it. It was illegal. So what was I supposed to do really? So I worked at this media company in Brooklyn, Vice Media.
Yeah. Know it well.
Before that also. But now I think they went bankrupt like 7 years ago actually.
Or
7 months ago, not years. But I worked for Vice Media. Did data analytics, did sales for them. It was right when they were starting to blow up, which was amazing, and Williamsburg was starting to blow up too, which was awesome. So I was
2003 TV on the radio.
Yeah, exactly.
I was there. Bedford Ave.
Yep, we were on North 11th Street, and we bought the bar across the street from us, Kinfolk.
Oh, nice.
And we were partying, and I was young, and it was fun as hell, and somehow I managed to save a little bit of money because when that job went south, I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to buy a farm. I'm going to learn how to farm.
Yes.
So I bought a camper van, and I drove around the country for 2 years visiting farms, and just fell in love with it. Like eager beaver. I love farming, man.
Yeah, the older I get, the more like I want to just go plant stuff and hang out in the garden, get away from my phone, get away from my TV,
whenever
get
there's
away
a
from
hard
anything.
point in life, like resorting back to nature, or growing food, or hiking the Appalachian Trail, these things are all like healing processes. So when the drama of Vice finally ended, I needed a way to like reground myself.
Yeah.
And that came through farming.
Farming?
Yeah,
No.
Growing thing.
I was thinking about it the other day when I was walking through nature. When I was in Prospect Park, but I was in the trees.
Nature,
it gets nature.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I grew up in Virginia in the mountains a little bit in Southern Virginia, so I know it, and I would hike those mountains. There's something when you're around, when it's all nature, when you're in the woods, all these rules, everything is done.
Yeah, it goes
Not
out the
all
window.
I'm gonna be a lawyer. I'm gonna make all this money.
Yeah.
Oh, so and so's gonna think this. No, you're gonna get eaten by bugs.
Yeah.
You're going to get eaten at worms. There's only the sky and the trees, and you're made of the same thing as the sky and the
very
trees.
Humbling.
Yeah, it's very
humbling.
and it's been going on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So all your drama is just a little poof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, what happened? So that was like 10 years ago, and then I wound up in Asheville, North Carolina.
Cool.
With a bunch of deadheads and a bunch of people doing having their own at-home extraction labs, and dabs were becoming a big thing.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money. Yeah.
My friends were blowing a lot of glass down there, which was cool.
Yeah, I love a good glass piece.
Yeah, a good glass piece is
Quality.
just beautiful craftsmanship.
It's craftsmanship.
It's
love.
There's this theme going through this podcast that it's so
this isn't for the money. I've done 300.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk to the weed farmer, and
Yeah.
yesterday, the last episode, I talked to my Italian barber that's been around since he got the place since the 30s.
Cool.
And he cut Truman Capote's hair,
shit.
Marky Ramone's hair.
Cool.
So it was just authentic people that tripped me out and that are doing real things like you are, Will.
No doubt.
It's just exciting.
So anyways, we landed up in the Hudson Valley in 2017. I landed there. The hemp bill passed, and hemp was legalized in 2018. And as soon as that happened, I was like, hell yeah, I'm growing weed. I'm growing cannabis again. Of course, it doesn't have any THC in it, but it's still the cannabis crop.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, the CBD.
CBD was like blowing up.
Yeah.
CBD flower. And we did that for 3 years. And then the state, the state has done virtually everything wrong that it could. But the one thing that I'm grateful for is that they gave the first cultivation licenses to hemp growers, to actual farmers.
Oh, wow.
So you couldn't buy a license. You had to grow hemp for 3 years.
And that's what you were doing.
That's what I was doing.
Oh.
So we grew our first cannabis crop that year, harvested in October, cured and dried through November, and then December of 2022, Housing Works opened up on 750 Broadway, and we delivered the first delivery of weed, legal delivery of weed in New York.
In New York City,
in New York history, yeah.
And you had Space Queen,
Gorilla Glue. What else was in that first round?
That's historic.
Yeah.
As a kid that grew up in New York City, that's
Dude.
that's beyond
Historic.
a dream.
Yeah.
And a kid that was got scared by growing hemp. Yeah. I doing the same thing with stand-up comedy is like a reason that I was like thinking like, what job can I still smoke pot and get by? And that was the one, there's growing, there's a band, I can rap. I've done a couple rap albums, but there's a couple that you could still get away. But now the culture's opening up and cannabis is getting so normalized, and studies are coming out.
It is
that people are dying from alcohol.
Yeah.
Like,
my God, alcohol
will cut your life by 10 years.
Yeah.
They're saying like it's just the data is like right there, and cannabis you can live longer. It's not perfect. Anytime you're smoking, you gotta watch
overdoing it. Anything in over moderation. Anything that's not in moderation is not good. It cannot be good for you.
Cannot be good for you. Yeah. And it loses its appeal. That's the thing I like about cannabis. It's like the less you smoke, actually, the higher you get.
Totally, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
It's kind of like a built-in little thing, and then you can smoke all day. You're just gonna stay regular.
And it's same with booze. It's saintly. We build tolerance to stuff, and once you start building like a really, one of our buyers at Legacy Dispensary up in outside of Albany, great people, texted me this week, and she was like, "I'm taking a break," and I actually like she was smoking like a half ounce a day.
Yeah, you got to take a break now.
So she took a sabbatical from it, and she said she smoked after that, and she was like, "Wow, it's like getting high for the first time. It was amazing." So, got to keep things in check.
Yeah, a month off is probably the healthiest thing a year, just to clear it all out.
Totally. And like dry February or dry January.
Yeah, like a dry January, like maybe do a break from coffee and weed. I might have to do.
Exactly.
Because I run on both pretty hard, but not too bad. Yeah. I try to keep it sun grown. I try to keep it to a couple one-hitters a day.
All right. That's not bad. Our edibles too that are now out are made with our strawberries and our honey from our honeybees and our ginger that we grow.
Oh, that's getting into some foodie stuff.
Yeah. So it's 100 milligrams THC. It's distillate. There's nothing we could do about it. I wish we could have some live resin in there, but it's not. Our capabilities were to extract distillate because I don't have a processing license. But what we could do is grow our strawberries and get our honey from our honeybees and grow the ginger. So that's all that mixed into one gummy is like, it's a heavy hitting gummy. People are like, every gummy that they've tried, at least the buyers, they're all like, this got me high as shit. And I think it has something to do with the other plants being in there, live plants, real plants, like an entourage effect.
There's something powerful about ginger and lemon and honey for health or just everything. I don't know.
There's microbes in there that are good for the gut, which helps this is the
attitude. The gut is connected to the feelings, brain and everything. So that's why I drink. Kombucha, but apple cider vinegar. Every morning, I'm guzzling that stuff down to clear it all out.
Guzzling it.
Yeah. I do one cap and then I do a whole glass of water. And that's right before I start my day. Cool. I do that. That's my
very good.
What's your morning ritual?
Man, it's
breakfast
sad.
Sandwich or smoothie?
Neither. I literally opened my eyes at this morning. I opened my eyes at 3:30 and ran out the door. Yeah. I have no time these days.
You're going to the hard.
I'm going hard, man. I'm going really hard right now.
But at the time it's the time to do it, and you're young enough, and you have the energy enough to do it. And in farming is, man, it's like
what it is.
It is what it is. You got to get your hands dirty. Totally. You got to lift. You got to pull.
If you look at our Instagram,
you got to be in the sun.
That's not real. If you look at our vegetable Instagram, that's not really a good indication of what we do every day. We work through rain, sleet, mud.
What's your fertilizer? You get horse manure, or you go to get the fish guts?
Many different ways, but we do fish guts, fish emulsion. We have done. This year we dumped a whole bunch of compost on our ground. We use green manure, cover crops, and then I'll also use my nitrogen fix. My big nitrogen fertilizer is classic chicken manure.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's chicken shit.
I love chicken shit. I love chicken shit.
It scares. And what you put that down, because then if you had some cannabis plants, right, there's little foxes and people will eat your crops. Does that keep the bugs? The fertilizer, does that keep the animals away?
The fertilizer does not keep the animals away, but it's kind of a myth that, so we grow 2,000 plants at a time. It's okay if we lose a couple of plants to the animals. Yeah. It's not the end of the world.
You got bears up there? What do you got up there?
We got bears up there, but they're black bears. They're afraid of humans. We had one roll up right through our main gate of the farm last year, and the whole crew just lost their shit because we're primarily females on our farm. Not to say that females are more scared of bears than males. Everyone's equally scared of bears.
I don't care. Yeah, just get out of there. I would do the same thing.
Yeah. But they're harmless.
Yeah, you can scare. You're supposed to yell at them. It's like, get out of here.
You don't. I mean, with
I
a
don't
black
know.
bear.
Would you do that?
If it was a grizzly, that's a whole different story. But these are like really scared black bear. They're so scared. You know, the most dangerous animal on the planet's a human. So
it is.
You know.
In our cars and the highway.
Yeah.
Whenever I see wildlife like that, I do feel a little bit sorry, especially deer when they're on the highway.
And
it's like
fucking nailed all the time on the highway. It's brutal.
It's brutal, and they're like walking along, and then they're in this other universe with these metal machines flying at them. It's just like,
yeah, it is sad.
It's sad, but it's a part of being a human, and we're figuring it all out as we go along.
Exactly.
You know?
To have that consciousness and to have you like kind of promote a podcast, get that in the public there is really an honorable thing, man. And I know it's not for the money, but it is it's a beautiful thing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you,
Seriously.
Will. Thank you. You're making the podcast, guys like you, and just getting out here and chopping it up. I learned so much today. I'm inspired. I wish you so much good luck in the future, everybody. Right now we're in Union Square, the middle of New York. If you're ever in Manhattan, Fridays they have an open market, the best farmers market in the world.
It really is.
It really is.
It actually may be like the best farmers market in the world.
I know. I saw some strawberry trees up
there's
there.
everything.
There's fish.
Everything.
You got everything that you would ever need, and all very fresh. Forget Whole Foods. Just come down here. And check out Back Home Cannabis. There's a dispensary. Shout out Dazed.
Yep.
Those guys are cool, and they carry Back Home. Their pre-rolls are the best pre-rolls. If you're from out of town, try them. You will not be let down.
Yeah, our big, the one complaint we got on our pre-rolls is that there was too much resin coming out of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was like, I know I could throw a glass tip on there, and I know how to roll it. We know how to roll where it captures the resin, it doesn't leak through the tip. But some of these strains, like the Gorilla Glue, like that's a resinous freaking strain.
It gets sticky.
And there's nothing I can really do about it. So just enjoy it.
Yeah, you grind them up good. You know, I think you got to grind it up. That's some. You know, I'm a snob, but I'm not the snob at that level. You know, there's a snob. But I am a snob with coffee, but I'm not a super snob. But there's levels to all of it. But yours never run, and I always have bad. That was the big thing about pre-rolls in California back in the day. It's like they always run. You buy this $10 thing and it just runs the whole time.
Yeah,
yours is tightly rolled. Is it hand rolled or do you do a machine?
No, it's with the Future Roll. It's with the machine. Yeah, it's with the machine. Our papers are all natural papers. They're not raws. They're another brand. And they work well. Our packing team's amazing. We have like the best packing team and rolling team.
I love it. You have the best tins. You drew the thing. I know. I really love it, and it's all. It looks expensive, but it's very simple. I'm a minimalist.
Yes,
I love minimalist packaging, and especially with the environment now. It bums me out to buy stuff because we package it so crazy. Yours is just, it's bomb-proof, it's simple, and it weighs right.
That's the idea. Take it or leave it. We're not there to... We're really not here to, like, impress... Really.
It's not an ego trip.
It's not an ego trip.
No, you're just a farmer.
Yeah, we're just a farmer, farmer among other cannabis businesses.
But do you have, since you're a New York kid, though, you must have a favorite hip-hop song. What's your favorite or do you like hip-hop?
I like Biggie.
Yeah, Biggie. You can't go wrong.
Biggie's the man. I love Biggie.
Yeah, you still gotta love Biggie. The flow is just so good.
Yeah, I think I don't know. The P Diddy thing's got me all freaked out now.
I know the P Diddy thing is I can't listen to it.
That's
and then even
crazy
but
shit.
I think Biggie might make it through it, but you don't know. The world is changing rapidly. But the beats are amazing.
Diddy was Biggie's producer, wasn't he?
Yeah, producer and brought him in.
Yep,
and
brought
everything.
him in.
But the only thing is, that's an internet rabbit hole you do not
want
to
go
down.
Right. Do not go there.
I start reading it, and then I'm like 30 minutes later. There's all these like pockets out there, but yeah,
Totally.
that is a sad thing about hip hop.
Yep.
That's going on.
Yep.
That New York hip hop, but
And P. Diddy was big in cannabis too.
Great smoker.
Yeah.
And he's Jamaican, and I just think hip hop and Jamaica beats and reggae all is connected.
Reggae is
it's
huge.
All, dance from dancehall and the turntables came to New York. From the dance hall scenes and so it's all connected.
Definitely
man.
spent my fair share of time in Jamaica. Lots of trips out there.
Me too. I've been to Jamaica a lot. I went to Jamaica for Christmas.
Hell yeah.
I would say that's a great time to go. If you get off flight on Christmas morning, it's empty. And go to Jamaica.
Save a couple bucks.
And that's where I love sun-grown cannabis. I just roll one giant spliff with those big ass papers, and I enjoy it. And that's how I learned to roll with Jamaica, man.
Totally.
So yeah, that culture I just want to give a big up to, as well as upstate culture, as well as Back Home Cannabis. And it's Will. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Rob.
I appreciate you.
it.
Leibee, right?
Leibee.
Leibee.
Danish.
Will Leibee. Danish. Will Leibee, Back Home Cannabis. They got a .com, but they're farmers, so go check them out live. All right, peace and love.
Right
That's
on.
it.
Peace and love.